afternoon. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, Channel 182 on Charter Communications, and you can also find us syndicated on Abundance Television, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. We're talking about customer service. We want to go ahead and have a part 2. I may even do a part 3 and a part 4. Might do a syndication on nothing but customer service. We seem to be lacking in that these days. Now, the first part of the show, you saw me talking about problem-solving skills. We talked about that. If you have employees you're going to be hiring, make sure they know how to solve problems. Patience is part of keeping that customer. Attentiveness is also, you got to be attentive to these customers. They know when you don't care. They do know. Let's talk about emotional intelligence. This is really huge. So, a great customer service representatives know how to relate to anybody. Okay, they're especially good with frustrated people. So this is what I used to do when I was in the cell phone business. Now this is back in the olden days. So what would happen is I was an outside customer service rep. I call myself a customer service rep even though it was actually sales, because I wanted to take care of customers more than anything else. And that brought new sales in because I took care of them. So what would happen is somebody inside the office, they always called me. I was the go-to person because I knew how to handle them. The more mad they were, the more I liked it because I could always turn them around. You know why? I'd listen to them. All they wanted, just like a baby crying, all they wanted you to do was listen to them. So anyway, somebody would call from the office and say, can you get here and take care of this customer? I know they're not your customer, but they're going nuts. So then I would say, okay, fine. And then other people would say, why do you take care of other people's customers? That doesn't make any sense at all. They're getting the commission on it and you're taking care of them. I would say, you know what? I'm taking care of it. And guess where they're going to send the referrals? They're going to send them to me. So I think I'm doing the smart thing. But anyway, I'd get there and I would say, is there something wrong? And I'd smile a lot. And they're trying to intimidate you because they're thinking, you know, I'm going to get her all riled up because I'm just all mad about this bill. Or it could be something that was like nothing really to you, but it was big to them. And remember, the customer, I don't care if it's about a paper clip, it's a big deal to you as well. So anyway, I would say, oh, come on, I can take care of that. And then so we'd go inside this little room, and I'd shut the door behind me, and there was glass. People would walk by. The people I worked with were always bad at coming by to see what I was doing, to make sure they weren't killing me or something. And it was always a piece of, just easy to do. So I just sat there and listened. You'd be amazed at what listening to a customer does to them. First of all, you actually care. You care. You give a rip about what's going on with this problem they're having with your product. So I'm just sitting there and I'm listening to them. And I did this every single time. It always worked. It's no big skill. You're just listening. So anyway, I would just be sitting there across the table from them and I'd go, I get it. I'd be upset too if this were happening to me. But you know what? We're going to take care of this together. So I'd call customer service. And by the way, when they're on hold with customer service, even if it's 1 minute, to them it seems like 10 minutes. Then if they've been on hold for 1 minute, somebody finally answers the phone and they hang up on them, that's even double the frustration. So this is what I would do. I'd be talking to them. First of all, I'd go ahead and start the customer service call. I wanted to talk to them. I did not want my customers talking to customer service. First of all, it could have been they were flipping burgers the day before. I just wanted I wanted to take care of it myself. And I knew, first of all, your customer doesn't know the questions to ask. You do because you're in the business. So I'd be sitting there on hold, talking to the customer. And I'd say, now, I want you to understand, now, on this billing, did anybody explain to you if you talk for a minute and a second, that's 2 minutes that you're billed for? Well, they'd say, no, I wasn't told that, blah, 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 blah. Even though they probably were, they just didn't remember that part. But that was a key thing for me to talk with my customers. So I'd be sitting there, well, I finally get customer service. And I say, hey, this is Donna Fiesel. I'm your sales rep. How are you doing today? Now, sometimes the way the customer would talk to the customer service would be a turn-off. So I was kind of leading an example also talking to customer service. They've been listening to complaints all day long, and you're the 50th person they've talked to who has an issue. Okay, they're tired. Okay, and they probably don't mean to, but they sound like they're mad at the world. So I'm talking to them and I'm saying, well, I wanted to call for my customer. I've got my customer sitting here with me right now. They're having an issue with their billing. Well, then I'd go on and we'd get it. So, and that's back in the day, I would say, now I want to keep this customer. Can you give them some extra minutes? They used to do that. All you had to do was ask. And they would say, well, sure, we'll give them 100 extra minutes. So guess what? I got to be the hero. I was not only taking care of their bill, I was helping them to understand. Talking for a minute and a second was 2 minutes that you were being billed for. I got them a bonus 100 minutes. Wow. All because I asked. So guess what? Again, most people don't want to take care of somebody else's customer. I wanted them. The more mad they were, if they were jumping up and down and they were just screaming and all this kind of stuff, I wanted that customer because I could always turn them around because all I had to do was take care of the problem. And guess what? They just send me so many customers. They say, I want your card. I want your number. And I'd give it to them. I'd go, awesome. If you don't mind, send me some folks, and they would do that every single time, all because I listened and I got myself inside their head and I got to understand what their issue was. Then I was able to take care of it. Customer service is nothing but taking care of customers, getting something that's upsetting them and fixing it. You're Mr. and Mrs. Fix It. Okay, you'll be known for that. Emotional intelligence. That is really important. Now, clear communication skills, that's it's so important. And I'm going to give you right here. This is how you answer people. And you got to have it like super simple Simon. Now, you got to remember this. You had to be taught how to use a spoon and a fork when you were a baby. Okay, you were not born knowing that a fork has these prongs on it, and you got to stick the fork inside that carrot, and then you got to put it in your mouth. Your mama and your daddy had to teach you how to do that. You got to teach people things too without talking down to them. Okay, you got to remember that. So this means that you've got to have a grasp on how to give them an answer that they can digest easily. In other words, you're the spokesperson for this company. For example, it doesn't behoove a customer receive a long-winded explanation of ins and outs of a particular bug. So there's an example right here I thought was pretty good. So, and this is also about writing skills. Now, let's take this for instance. Let's say that you are in computer, okay? And so the person doesn't know that they need to log out. This is not how you answer them. I'm going to tell you how to answer and then how not to answer. Okay, so if you say, you have to log out first, that kind of sounds a little condescending, doesn't it? It kind of sounds like I'm smart, you're stupid. That's how that comes across. Nobody wants to be talked to that way. Here's a good answer right here. Logging out should help solve the problem quickly. And be careful how you say that, okay? It's not like, you're a dumb moron. Don't do that. Okay, you had to be taught how to use a fork. I want you to always remember that. This also includes writing skills because there are going to be times, like when COVID hit, we all learned how to do customer service a totally different way. There was not so much of this face-to-face contact. And then this is another thing that used to be irritating. People were wearing masks and you couldn't understand what they were saying and all that kind of stuff. So that's why I hated to talk customer service with people on the phone. I would get to the point where I would just say, is there an email I could just send you an email on what my issue is so that you can respond back to me? I got to where I was doing that a lot. But be creative. Okay, let's talk about creativity. And use the resources you have. You got plenty of them. If you've got a mouth, you've got 2 ears, you've got resources. Solving a problem is good, but finding clever and fun ways to go the extra mile is even better. So I'm going to tell you what another thing you should do. Now again, I'm not a super smart person. I'm not. I just like to use my imagination. So I kind of turned into this person. So let's say that a husband, the birthday is coming up, it's his wife or his girlfriend's birthday, and he wanted to get her a cell phone. I would always ask, what's the phone going to be used for? Is it going to be for you? And if it was an existing customer, I would say, well, who's the phone going to be for? Well, they'd say, well, my wife's birthday's coming up, and so I want to give it to her for her birthday. I think she could use it, for security. She's out on the road a lot and blah, blah, blah. And so I would say, oh, so it's going to be for the birthday. I got an idea. And they'd say, what? And I would say, bring you into it. Bring your imagination into problem solving, okay? And this wasn't even a problem. So this is what I said. I said this a lot. I would say, I've got an idea. I've got some batteries charged back here. So why don't we, they're new batteries. They've just been charged. Yours hasn't been charged. And I would say, let me put a fresh battery in here. Don't turn the phone on yet. Don't wrap it yet. And when you're about to give it to her, put it in a bag or whatever. And I always suggested, guys especially, just put it in a bag with some real pretty paper in it. That was my suggestion to them. And so I would give her the bag, and then I would say, now before you give it to her, you need to get your phone and you need to dial the number. And this is the cell phone number right here. You need to dial it. Make sure the phone's on, and then you're going to dial the number. Give her the bag and just check her reaction for when she opens up the bag, before she opens it up, when you hand it to her. Or if you're where you can't do it, if you'll let me know right when you're about to give it to her, unless it's Christmas or something, I would say, if you'll just let me know, I'll call the number, and then you're going to be handing her the present. The phone's going to be ringing. Wouldn't that be cool? Everybody, I don't think I ever had anybody who didn't want to do that. I mean, everybody did. So that was just a fun thing you do. Whatever your product is, there's a fun, creative way you can make it work. Let's go to persuasion skills. This is number 8. Let's kind of touch on this because we're going to have to go into a commercial break in just a minute. But oftentimes support teams get messages from people that aren't looking for support. They're considering purchasing your company's product. In these situations, it helps to have a team of people with some mastery of persuasion so they can convince interested prospects that your product is right for them, if it truly is. Now, I have told people, I don't think you need a cell phone. This is back in the olden days. Again, your coverage probably wasn't good. I was in Calhoun County. This is where I grew up, actually. And so what I did, a few times I would say, now, where do you live? Well, if they said Piedmont, Alabama, I'd go, you got to go to my competitor. And they would look at you funny like, your competitor? I'd say, yeah, go see Jan. Jan worked at Bell South Mobility, and I worked at GTE. I would say, yeah, go see Jan. She'll take good care of you. Not as good as I do, but she'll take good care of you. And so there are some customers that you can't help. You've got to offer an idea for them, okay? It's all up to you to do that. So in these situations, you really got to be skillful. It's not about making a sales pitch, even in an email form. Don't make a sales pitch, but it's about not letting potential customers slip away because you couldn't create a compelling message that your company's product is worth purchasing. Or if it's not the product for them, you offer an alternative. And you know what? As soon as that product will be the product for them, and keep a file of these people, okay? And so let's just say it was about coverage for a cell phone. As soon as we got coverage in Piedmont, I had a list of people I called, and I got every one of those customers. And you can do it too. You know why? Because you're honest. Let's go into a commercial break. We're going to be right back in just a minute. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. Let Rhonda at Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC take the burden off you for all your tax needs. I know because Rhonda has been taking care of my business since 2013. I feel Rhonda works for me because she knows the direct questions to ask to better benefit my unique business in order for me to get back the biggest refund possible. Rhonda is an ongoing student, and she knows tax laws are in a constant change every year. Call 256-281-9903 for an appointment to take the dread out of getting your taxes done. Rhonda is located at 11968 U.S. Highway 431 in Boaz. Again, that number is 256-281-9903. And let Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC champion your personal and business taxes. Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer
yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
Okay, we're back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. Let's dig back in. We're talking about customer service. How do I keep customers? How do I keep them coming in the door? Well, we've been talking about that, and this makes the second half of this show, and it's really important, and I've got lots of ideas. Not that I'm so smart, I'm not. You think of things, and as you get older, you get all these good customer service ideas. The big deal is listening. And there's a reason your grandmother probably used to tell you, you got 2 ears and 1 mouth. Okay, so listen to the customer. They've got to know that you're genuine. That's to me, that's no. If I could only pick one thing out of all these things, that would be it. Okay, number 9, the ability to use positive language. Let's talk about that. Effective customer service means having the ability to make minor changes in your conversational patterns. This can truly go a long way with creating happy customers. Language is a crucial part of persuasion, and people, especially customers, create perceptions about you and your company based on the language that you use. Now, if you've just had a fight with your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your husband and your wife, don't tell the customer. I have had people do that. I have walked into places of businesses before, and they were on the phone with somebody, and they hung up, they just slammed up the phone, and they start telling you about having a fight with their special significant other. Don't ever do that. That's number 1. And people, especially customers, do create their perception of what you are the first time they meet you. For example, let's say a customer contacts your team with an interest in a particular product, but that product happens to be back ordered until next month. Responding to questions with positive language can greatly affect how the customer hears the response. So let's talk about this. Okay. So with positive language, or without, let's do the without positive language first. Okay. So the product they want has been back ordered, and we've heard that a lot, especially since COVID. So here is the without positive language. I can't get you that product until next month. It is back ordered and unavailable at this time. What does that tell you about this person? It tells you, first of all, they don't give a rip. They're kind of hoping you go somewhere else. Okay, that's what it tells me if someone were to respond to me that way. Now, here's a positive way to respond. That product will be available next month. I can place the order for you right now and make sure it's sent to you as soon as it reaches our warehouse. And I will keep in contact with you. And I'm adding this. What's the best number for me to respond to you? Or would you rather I call you? Would you rather I text you? I know you're busy. Either way's good with me. You just tell me the proper way. How much nicer is that? First of all, it shows I care. Okay, now here's what they say about it. The first example isn't negative per se, but the tone it conveys feels abrupt. It's impersonal and can be taken the wrong way by customers. That's why I had rather, some customers say, as I get to know them, I'll send text. But I would rather my first few responses with a customer not be text, because sometimes that can be taken, quote unquote, out of text. It can come across as sounding something that it's not. I'll give you an example. My friend Brenda, we were just still are really good friends. And so she's from Charlotte, North Carolina. And so I had my cell phone, and I didn't realize, this is when I first started doing text. I didn't really realize, even though I'd been in the cell phone business, that if you send caps, you're yelling at somebody. So Brenda gets back with me. She calls me, and she sounded upset. And I'm like, oh my God, what happened? And she said, what's wrong? And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. She said, are you mad at me about something? And I said, no. What are you talking about? I just sent you a text. She said, but you were yelling. And I said, I wasn't yelling. What are you talking about? And she said, you put it in caps. That means you were yelling. And I started just laughing my head off. I said, boy, I'm glad it happened to you and not somebody else, because we're friends. What if it had been sent to a client that I didn't know, and it looked as if I were yelling at them when I wasn't? So anyway, if there's an issue that comes up, whether you think it's a big issue or not, get that out of the way and go ahead and take care of that. You got to make sure something doesn't sound negative. So Brenda and I still laugh about that, about the all caps. Sometimes I just send her a little message, put all caps, just a reminder. But we're friends, so you can do that. So just make sure that you end things on a positive nature. This is something else that you could do. But you guys that have things that you mail out to people, products and services, I still would say, you know what? We could have issues with shipping at any time. I'm just going to tell you somewhere a ballpark when this product is going to come in. I'm going to say it's going to be less than 2 weeks, but let's just give it a 2-week timeline out there, just in case something comes up. And man, when they get it quicker than 2 weeks, they're going to say, even if it's a week, and you're telling them 2 weeks, they're going to go, man, that shipment was fast. And then they're going, wait a minute, I've had stuff sent overnight before. But so you're going to come across is because you're thinking of potential pitfalls, potential reasons. Now, this is another thing I would say if something is going to be late. First thing I would ask is this a gift for someone? Like, is it a wedding gift? Is it a birthday gift? Is it a whatever kind of gift? And if they said yes, I would say, ooh, when is the occasion? And if they said, well, it's going to be like in like 2 weeks, I would say, oh man, there's no way I can don't, just to get the sale, don't say, oh yeah, it'll be there in 2 weeks. I would tell them what the potential could be. And I would say, look, I can cancel it if you find somebody who can actually send it faster. You know what they're going to do? They're going to call somebody, and this person is not going to give them the caring effect you just did. They're probably going to risk it with you because you said the potential of it being 2 weeks, not being within 2 weeks, is pretty high. Because you're first of all, you care. Okay, people just want to know you care about them and about what they're buying from you. Product knowledge. Ooh, this is a biggie. The best customer best customer professionals have a deep knowledge of how their company's products work. You need to know the ins and outs. Look at you. You got all this stuff I used to do now. You got YouTube videos and stuff like that you can look at if you're new with the company. So after all, without knowing your product from front to back, they won't know how to help when customers run into problems. So for example, let's say you're trained on customer support during the first or second week on the job. It's a critical component that employees know about that product inside and out. For example, let's just say acting skills, time management skills. That's important. Ability to read customers. Oh, that's why I like face-to-face contact. Okay, let's talk about that for a minute. We've got time. Ability to read customers. So it's important that your team understands some basic principles on the psychology of people in order to read customers' current or emotional states. So I rarely use a smiley face, is what this person says, in a support email when the customer's signature includes PhD, for example. Not that academics are just not humor, but it's just that isn't likely to get you taken seriously by someone who spent 5 years deconstructing undertones in the 19th century autobiographical function. I totally get that. So the best support pros know how to watch, listen for subtle clues about a customer's current mood, patience level, personality, etc., which goes a long way in keeping customer interactions positive. So this is what I would do. Because people want you to spend some time with them. You're building a relationship. However, if they don't have the time to spend with you, you need to know that, okay? So this is what I would always do. I would say, okay, I'm here to help you with such and such with your cell phone, whatever. And I would say, now how much time do we have? Well, if they said, I'm running late for an appointment, Donna, first of all, I would just ask if we could reschedule. I would say, this is going to be kind of a lengthy process. I don't think we're going to have time. When is your meeting over? Even if it was an inconvenience for you, okay? You reschedule if you can. But then if I say, it's okay if I'm a little bit late, then you still got to be in a hurry. You don't have time for chit-chat. You're not going to tell them about your dog or your cat. You're not going to do any of that stuff. You're going to get right into the issue and you're going to settle it. Now, if it's somebody says, I got as much time as you need, and then you see like a picture of the dog on the wall, you go, oh, is that your dog now? And they say, yeah. And I'd say, what's your dog's name? Because I love animals. And if they love animals, now you sincerely got to love animals for this to work, okay? You can't be somebody that's just not into animals. You got to find some common ground right there. Or they got pictures and you say, so who are those kids? They never say, are those your grandkids? Never do that. It's going to make a woman mad, and some men. So you just say, who are the kids? And then they'll say, oh, those are my grandkids. You go, oh, wow. So and this is always funny to say. Now they got to be a lively person. Not everybody gets the joke. So if they're very lively, you can say something like, you know what my parents used to say? They would say, if they'd known the grandkids were going to be this much fun, they would have had them first. So you want to get them on a bright note. You want to get them laughing. But now don't turn it into like a comedian thing, okay? You're not on stage here. You're taking good care of the customer, but you want to get them in somewhat of a friendly mood if they're having a problem with your product. And you just done it. Okay, again, you're not being hired out to be a comedian. You're going to say something that's going to put everybody on a light note. Then, immediately, you dig into their problem, okay? And you take good care of it. Even if they said, I've got all day, things can happen. Somebody can call in. There can be a problem with the production line at any second. That could happen. You've taken care of them, and you've done it in a timely manner. Thank you so much for watching The Edge. My name is Donna, and I'm your host. Thank you for watching Monday through Friday from 1 to 3 p.m. Central as we get to ride home with you. Now, if you can't watch me during those times, you know what? There is also some time that you can watch us on social media, Facebook and all those places, YouTube, all of that. You can watch anytime you want to. Again, we appreciate you watching. You take care. I'll see you a little bit later.